I am homeless in the threatening. I put on the black robe because Jerry is coming by and threatening to tell me to get out today because I don't have the rent money for the late day of July 5th, 2025. And today's July 7th, so I already didn't pay the rent on July 5th. She didn't have the office open on July 5th, as far as I know. And so I'll have to get out. But I don't afford it because I'm not alive outside homeless. And that's the wrong problem. That's how high my soul is in God. It is actually homeless outside witnesses myself, and I'm not holding alive out there this way, not anymore. Now that's deceased, and I don't see it. This Godhead is deceased, but I make the motion with the Godhead, and I have the Godhead homeless outside, deceased again, and I also had it deceased another way, that it wouldn't go outside and then it would be outside after that in an unpredictable way off of my prejudice. I'm in prejudice for that the body Godhead stays inside now, but not because I'm living inside. I'm preparing to decease myself out of the formed world, and decease the formed world as well. And I need the leverage of the apartment to do that because it is itself a shelter for myself, that I did live here. I'm deceasing that I did already consume time here before I went homeless. And when I came back from homeless, it's been taking me, from October 22nd, 2022 until today so far, July 7th, 2025. Yeah, so it's taking me that long to decease myself out of the door locking and the formed world, and decease the formed world as well is my leverage. So it's not fair to put me outside and make me use that I live outside and see myself outside as leverage to decease the formed world. Is both outside and inside of one door locking I already consumed before I went outside in leverage. So where we are now is I don't see Jerry at the door yet, but it's close to the time the office would open. And I would open the door if she knocks. I would open this front door if she knocks. If anybody knocks, I open the door. So it's homeless to know you, but I don't have that I'm going outside homeless today in the threatening. And I know that nobody's offering to give me keys because I'm God to myself, because I'm deceased, because of my leverage, that I'm deceasing the formed world. Nobody's giving me keys for that, even though that's how I have any keys to begin with. Yep, that's my leverage anyway. So it's homeless to say that I would be going from here to someplace else. That's not true that I would. And it's also true that there are keys that are due to myself that have not been paid out to myself already because of the damages to this apartment, which is the hot water heater burst, and it was changed out. The refrigerator broke and made noise, but it was fixed with something to stop the sound of the refrigerator, but I can still hear that it's running, it's on, but it's broken. It should have been that I can use another refrigerator because I don't want this one. So I would live someplace else with that. And then I also see the blinds have been replaced that were broken, but not these blinds because I don't want them. And then so they don't all match anymore. They used to all match. They used to all look like this. What else? The central air has been covered up, even though it was working. It needed the batteries changed for the thermostat. The thermostat was removed and covered up a hole in the wall. And then there's also these smoke detectors that were installed, that one right there and that one out there in the wall in the hallway. They both flash a white light I don't need. Who hired you? Who sent you? Who put in two smoke detectors that close together? And other maintenance on the apartment. The stove was changed out recently. The other stove didn't break, but it was, I guess, just taken out of here. But I got another one from one landlord fought with another landlord over the stove, which is also true about this. This was installed here recently, and I didn't need it because I had central air, but that's been covered up. And then I have this fan in case this wall unit breaks. That's because I didn't ask for it. It's technically broken already. I've seen that the heat doesn't work on this already. At about 80 degrees, it won't work. But the AC might work. The other AC unit does work, air conditioning right now. I do need it now. It's very hot in Las Vegas right now. So that's my threatening that I don't stay here anymore because of the maintenance that was not called for. The sink fixtures were also replaced, but why? Because I want to live someplace else. I want to live in a nicer place than living here. And I don't know why no one will give it to me because I don't have any leverage to death yourselves. I'm disclosing that now. I have leverage to decease myself, and I do make a small motion in the world so that you know why I'm here, but I don't actually say that I don't need anything and I don't have a problem because I am deceased. I am a deceased is making a small motion here to decease the formed world. And the motion is really just for you to go outside homeless and wait for God to give you a death outside. But you have to be homeless on all the points. So that means you're homeless on all the points of homeless, that you are not alone, and that you are in a world surrounded by properties that you're not allowed to be in. So you're homeless that way. And then you can end up in jail and prison if you have a problem outside homeless and you can't just stay outside. You have to go to jail and prison. You don't go inside of a house or a building because you threatened a stolen car. It's true that I can't help you that you've been living inside for 45 years and you don't know me. It's not due that you don't know me. It's due that you died in a prejudice of yourself being formed with illegal genitals. And I don't have karma to death you by that. You take everything I need for myself and take away everything that moves and tell me to get out and tell me that I have to leave at my own expense and ask me where I'm going when I leave you because you think that's funny that you're not going to pay for me to be elsewhere. And you are that far in the wrong homeless. You want to say that to me? You're far in the wrong homeless. I am not homeless that way. I am homeless in the leverage at this time. You did so many crimes against myself that I deceased in threatening inside and I deceased in threatening outside, living outside in a park. I don't know why you want to put your Godhead out in a park for the little amount of money and food I was consuming and living off of for consuming from your point of view that it wasn't going your way and living off of it from my point of view that I didn't really need very much. Even though you were doing a lot of crime on myself, I could afford something of what I was eating, but it's not a cause. I find you in the wrong against myself, and it doesn't really matter to me that you are wrong because I'm going to decease myself anyway, and I'm not deceasing yourselves. You're not deceased. You're not what deceased is. You need an unclean death on yourself, and I'm not eligible for an unclean death because you're offending myself. It's not like we have that together. You don't know what deceased means. That's why your criming myself is not due. You're not going to find out by doing something wrong to me that I'm deceased and that what you did was sort of only against yourself and you're not myself. You're not supposed to say, you're not myself. What are you going to do? You're actually supposed to say, I can't do something against yourself because I'm not yourself. And you don't have my leverage that doesn't mix in the crime lording with you. And I am talking about now the afterlife where I have died out of my feminine genitals already, but I'm waiting for the the door locking to be deceased, and then I won't be in feminine genitals anymore. And I would have died out of them anyway, but I'm died out of the leverage of that I was ever female. So I will be seeing you as God, where I will owe you that I give you impact beatings because you did crime lording on something deceased. But I don't actually want to do that because there are too many of you. I owe too many beatings. It's due that you fight with each other for a death in prisons in the afterlife, but I don't form the prisons myself. You're going to be put out of alive. So then I will see you that way, but it's homeless to say that now, except I want to say that I want something out of my feminine genitals, which is all the food you stole, but I lost that it was really for myself. So that's how I would say in the afterlife. I don't know what's going to happen to me if I'll get any more food. It should, because I'll still be talking about it. If I'm talking about food in the afterlife, I'll be eating it. But you'll be talking about food and you'll not be eating it. If I eat in the afterlife, it'll be just me. And that's me in a masculine Godhead, which is just God. It's a Godhead of God. I would be eating in that form, but I don't have teeth in the form as a male. I have that I'm a Godhead doesn't have teeth. It has something called uppers and lowers, and I don't eat with that. Yeah, but you're going to still be talking about food, and it was my food. Well, I'm supposed to eat it that way. You did something wrong to me. I'm not due to see you in the afterlife. It doesn't speak English is what you did and what doesn't speak English. That means you thought I was in it with you and just to save myself and what I need for myself. And that's not true. It's true that you were alone in the wrong. It was an argument. I would say, I have said that in some statements, if I've been directly threatened, unfortunately, and in other ways I have said it with myself, I find you alone in the wrong. And you still think that if I'm not alone, that I'm in the wrong with you, and that's just what you think. That's not true from my point of view. I find you alone in the wrong is what I would say about um, the videos I've been making about you. Some of you have been close to me physically, and just about you illegally banking the world around me. I'm not Jesus. You're trying to bank that Jesus is alive. Jesus is not alive. I'm alive, and I don't have leverage to decease the banking anymore. Not if you're spending money out of the bank. That's you putting yourselves out of alive. But I think that's taken a very long time because you're using my leverage as the soul of the superior founder to put yourselves out of alive. You're making me put you out of alive myself with my leverage, and I'm only this big. You weighed me in at a pediatrician, and you want me to put you out of alive. Yeah, I used to. Well, it was a 3-year-old size God form that grew all the way until I was 48 years old. I am 48 years old right here, and you're using my leverage to put you out of alive, and that's not due. You're due to leave me and go to jails and prisons and die an unclean death to yourself. That's none of my business that you have that problem. I don't know that with a head on my shoulders. I'm formed in a Godhead, and I don't know your problems as due. You're trying to fill my head with that I know all of your problems as my own problems, and I don't have prejudice. That way I am deceased.